One of the most important aspects of a successful print-on-demand business is the ability of a seller to market his or her designs effectively on social media platforms through the use of mockups. Now, while there are some great websites that provide well-photographed mockups, a good seller will try to come up with mockups that are different from the ones provided in these websites, so that the design showcase will stand out in social media platforms. And that is where image generator platforms come into play. In today's video, I'm going to be comparing 5 platforms, namely Ideogram, Microsoft Bing Image Creator, Playground.ai, Styler.ai, and Recraft.ai in order to see which of these platforms provide the most realistic and eye-catching mockups for free. The results are quite eye-opening, so stick around to the end to find out how each platform did. And now let's head on over to my PC to get started with today's video. Let's go. So welcome to my computer screen. As you can see here, I have a document up on my screen which basically indicates what prompts I utilize for this particular test. Let's just go through them very quickly. So for t-shirt, a woman in her mid-20s wearing a plain black t-shirt with no design on it, full frontal view, head to hip, at a tailgate party. I didn't want the full body view. I just wanted to get a close-up from the head to the hip so that obviously more focus could be on the t-shirt when obviously superimposing one's design on it. With respect to a hoodie, a mock-up of a man wearing a black pullover hoodie in front of a snowy mountain, full frontal view, head to hip. And again, I want to see some contrast between the black pullover hoodie with the snowy mountains in the backdrop behind him. The third prompt that we're going to be comparing pertains to a coffee mug, so a mock-up of an 11-ounce plain white coffee mug on a table with fresh berries, no design. So the fourth product pertains to a throw pillow, where we have mock-up of a 2 squared plain white pillows placed over a couch in a modern living room, no design on pillows. And then the final prompt pertains to a tote bag, where the prompt reads mock-up of a woman carrying a plain tote bag, no design on it, in a street market on a bright Sunday afternoon. So now before we head over to the image platforms in order to see the results generated from these prompts, let me just quickly show you the criteria by which I am going to be gauging the results from each of the image prompts for today's test. Again, this is totally created by myself. This is based on what I would be looking for when I'm creating a mock-up for my designs to be showcased on social media. So basically, I divided into 5 categories, each category getting a possible mark out of 2 for a total of 10. So we've got realism of apparel, environmental context, model representation, product presentation, and then the overall aesthetic appeal. So the reason why I chose these 5 platforms is that for the most part, they are free to use. Now I know that some of you are probably screaming at your screen saying, why haven't you included Leonardo.ai into this particular test too as well? You're not wrong. Leonardo is a great platform, but again, Leonardo is a freemium type package where it does give you a certain number of coins. Yes, similar to Microsoft Bing, but you know what? There's been so much content produced about Leonardo out there. We all basically know what kind of images it can create. I got, for all intents and purposes, for today's video, I was going to leave it on the wayside. If you guys are interested in maybe me creating, a runoff between, the winning platform in today's video against Leonardo for a future video, let me know in the comments section down below, and I'll be happy to create a video about that too as well. So the first one that we're going to bring up is Ideogram, where we have a woman in her mid-20s wearing a plain black t-shirt, obviously with the rest of the prompt. And in terms of realism of apparel, so let's just move that up. Realism of apparel, I think we can all agree that Ideogram has done a really good job in providing some realistic images of a t-shirt. I mean, we've got the folds too as well. So yeah, in this particular case, I think I would give this a 2. In terms of the environmental context, because of the fact that it's at a tailgate party, we look at all 4 of these images, we can see people blurred in the background, having a good time at a tailgate party before a big game on a Sunday afternoon. We've got great composition in all of them, so I think in this particular case, I would give this a 2 as well. Okay, in terms of model representation, now here's where I have a little bit of a problem with this particular platform. If we just take a look at, let's just click on these images here, and we go through them one by one. Okay, so we're going through them. While the body shape of the models represented in these images is great, it's realistic, it's natural, I am having some issue with respect to the faces, particularly with the eyes. I think perhaps maybe out of the 4 images that we've seen, I think this one is the one which is perhaps maybe, I don't know, the most acceptable out of the 4. I mean, if we go back to the first one, just look at the eyes over here. It's really not that realistic. And ideogram does tend to suffer from time to time with respect to this. There will be times where it will get it correct and it will get it natural, but you have to regenerate a few times before you can get that. And obviously, this particular test, I just wanted to click the generate once to see what the platform would present to me so that I could then gauge which of the platforms I would highly recommend above all of the other 4. So I think in this particular respect, I think I'd only give it a half a mark for, the model representation. In terms of the product presentation, okay, so we're looking at, let's get out of here. So we're looking at the lighting, the shadows and reflections. Well, in truth, I can't really complain too much about the way Ideogram has presented the images. We have some images which are a bit dull and some which are high in contrast, so that's really good to see in terms of a balance. I think that perhaps maybe in this case, I would give this a 1 out of 2. Now, in terms of overall aesthetic, again, because of the fact that there is that issue with the models' faces, I don't think I would give this particular platform full marks, and I think maybe I would give it a 1 out of 2. Okay, so let's move on to Microsoft Bing here. Now, these are the images that Microsoft Bing generated. So let's just click on these so we'll get a closer look here. All right, let's go through them. Okay, so in terms of realism of apparel, I mean, we can't really fault it too much. Just like with the previous platform, the material does look okay. There isn't much to complain about. We do have folds in, the material to obviously give the appearance that somebody's actually wearing it. But I think if I had to compare this one to Ideogram, I don't think I would be as happy with this one as I was with Ideogram with respect to the realism of the apparel. So in terms of this, I'm going to give this 1.5 out of 2. Now, in terms of the environmental context, again, if we go through them like Ideogram, we do see that, the scenes are at a tailgate party. So again, the image generator did stick to the prompt with that, so I can't really fault that. I'm going to give this one a 2 as well. In terms of the model presentation, now, where the facial expressions of the models look a whole lot better than Ideogram. I mean, if we take a look at the first 3, I mean, the last one, the face is cropped off, but even in terms of the nose and the mouth area on this particular model, there is a lot of realism. It is really smoothed out. You can really tell that these are AI generated images as opposed to something which is more realistic. I think out of all 4 of them, this one probably is the most realistic. So I think in that particular case, I wouldn't give full marks for this one. I'd give it a 1.5 out of 2. Again, in terms of product presentation, the lighting, the styling of the products, I was looking for, a plain black t-shirt. Maybe perhaps I should have included, full length or extra length in the prompt, because as you can see here, obviously, this model's midriff is exposed here. The shirt is cut off here. This one, yeah, it does go all the way down to the waist because you can see some of the material down there below too. Again, here we have the female's midriff exposed as well, and also we did get some kind of design over here, so that didn't hit the mark with respect to the prompt. And then this one, I think maybe number 2 and number 4 probably would be the best out of the 4 to utilize. So I think in this particular case, I'd give it a 1.5 for product presentation. And then in terms of the overall aesthetic, yeah, I mean, I was quite happy with the overall lighting and the whole aesthetics and the backgrounds and whatnot too as well. I didn't really like that this particular model looked a little bit anorexic. So I wouldn't want to use this in a social media post because it might actually lead, for a misconstrued or misinterpreted type of image that I would want to, show with my designs. So I think I'd give this a 1.5. Okay, so let's head over to playground.ai. Now, playground.ai, we have a problem over here. at least from my perspective. As you can see here, in terms of the realism of the apparel, yeah, I don't really see too much problems with it. We got the full length of the t-shirts here. That's absolutely no problem. So we can give that a 2. But in terms of the environmental context, we've got a doubling up of the models here. We said for a tailgate party, the image generator took it literally and actually brought tailgates of different vehicles here. So obviously it didn't hit on. So we're going to give that a 0 in terms of environmental context. Model representation, we got a doubling up of the same model, and this model here looks like she's got 2 hands here and her body tends to be a bit distorted. So I would give that a 0.5, half a mark out of 2. Product presentation, again, you know, in terms of the contrast and the folds and whatnot, again, we've got an issue a bit over here too as well. I would give this a 1. Overall aesthetics, there's just too many mistakes in that. But, you know, for the sake of being fair, I'm going to give it a 0.5 as well. Okay, let's head over to Stylar. Now, Stylar, you have to actually click on the images here, and then you will obviously select which one you want it to be placed on the canvas. So let's take a look at the first one. Okay, this is the second one, the third one, and the fourth one. So in terms of realism of apparel, I think you will agree with me that out of the 4 that we've seen, this one probably is the best in terms of the realism of apparel. So I'm going to give this one a 2 as well. In terms of environmental context, okay, it does appear that, you know, the models are at a tailgate party. It isn't as evident as an ideogram, but you can still get a sense that, you know, there are people partying on a Sunday afternoon before the game. So I'm going to give this one a 1.5. In terms of model representation, I think out of, you know, the 4 that we've seen so far, this one provides the most realistic facial expressions on the models out of the 4. So I'm definitely going to give this one a 2. Product presentation in terms of contrast, folds on the t-shirts. Again, this one was spot on. Again, in my personal opinion, you're welcome to comment down below if you disagree, but I'm going to give this one a 2 as well. And in terms of overall composition, again, I can't really fault this one. We've got great lighting. Yes, this one perhaps maybe has a little bit of an issue around the model's face due to the lighting in the eyes, but for all intents and purposes, I'm going to give this one a 1.5 as well. Okay. Now, the last one that we're going to be looking at is Recraft. For those of you who have been following my channel know I've been really focusing a lot on this particular platform. The thing about Recraft is that it only gives you 2 images at a time, unlike the other ones where you do get more. But let's take a look at them. So this is the first one that Recraft has presented, and this is the second one. Okay, so in terms of realism of apparel, I guess we could say that it really worked really well. I mean, if we even look at, you know, the model's shirt over here, the garments underneath do tend to show through a little bit, and the fact that this image generator did actually, you know, bring this up too as well does give a really good sense of, you know, realism. Okay, so I think in this particular case, I would give Recraft a 2 as well. Again, in terms of the environmental context, we can see that this model is with other people. We've got the tents, we've got the people partying too as well. I would have liked to have seen maybe more. Perhaps maybe what I could have done was created another canvas next to it. So I would have gotten 4 too. So it's really not the fault of the platform. Perhaps an oversight from my end. But I would definitely give this one a 2 as well. In terms of model representation, the contrast, the lighting, I think that Recraft did do a great job with this one. I mean, this one sort of gives me an impression of maybe a photo that was taken in the 1980s or in early 1990s where it's starting to wash out a little bit. Again, if I wanted to use this one, I could always punch up the contrast if I wanted to. So yeah, I'm going to give this one a 2 as well. Product presentation, again, I can't really fault it. I think it has done a really good job on that. Again, from my opinion, I think I'm going to give this a 2. And again, in terms of overall aesthetics, I think I don't feel that I can give it a 2 straight on, but I will give it a close 1.75. Okay, again, this is just based on, you know, my experience, my usage of these platforms of creating mock-ups. You are welcome to disagree with me. If you do, please comment in the comment section down below. Let's have a nice, healthy discussion. If you agree with my assessment of these particular platforms, then by all means, go ahead and let me know in the comment section down below. Now, what I'm going to do so that this video won't be very long, I'm going to show you slides from each of the platforms for the other prompts. And then I'm going to show you how I graded them and what the final mark for each of the platforms is going to be.
Yeah. No.
You're welcome to utilize these prompts and generate your own copies of these particular mockups to utilize for your own print-on-demand business. And if you agree with my assessment, let me know in the comment section down below. If you don't, hey, let me know too as well. We're all welcome to our own opinions and thoughts. At the end of the day, what's important is that, these particular platforms are here for us to utilize. They're free to use for the most part. And, this is an important part of the print-on-demand business as well. It isn't enough just to create designs. You also need to market your designs on Mockups in social media platforms, which effectively is free. And, get your stuff out there in front of the eyeballs of potential customers to lead them to your respective print-on-demand shops so that you can actually land more sales. It isn't enough just to create designs and hope and pray that people are going to find your designs on the marketplaces and click on them. You got to let them know that you have your designs out there. And the best way to do so is by creating mock-ups with your designs and posting 3, 4, maybe even 5 times a day. You know, you can post on Pinterest, you can create a YouTube short out of them, an Instagram reel, a Facebook post, a TikTok video if you want to as well. Just create a nice loop of these particular images. You can use platforms like CapCut to generate everything together. If you'd like for me to show you how to create such a thing on CapCut, let me know in the comment section down below and I'll create a video about that too as well. There are so many resources out there that you can utilize to help make your life a lot easier and hopefully, you know, your print-on-demand business to be more successful in the weeks and months ahead. So I certainly hope that you enjoyed my assessment of these platforms. If you did, do me a favor, smash that like button. If you're new to the channel or haven't as yet subscribed, smash that subscribe button and turn on the bell notification icon so that you'll be notified each and every time I upload a new video to my channel. Now I would like to invite you to click on this thumbnail that's just appeared on your screen below to help you take your print-on-demand business to the next level. Thanks for watching. I'll see you there.